Awesome.
We're now broadcasting.
Brilliant.
Let's see if we have any more participants.
Yes, they'll be coming in anyway soon.
How are you, Michael?
I'm good, you know. I'm good. I'm looking for after the Prime Minister's plan layout there. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what July is going to bring. Honestly, I just miss traveling. I honestly do. I really don't need to go back to work and hang out with anybody else. And it's like perfectly happy doing it from home. But when it comes to traveling, I'm looking forward to traveling. What are you guys looking forward to doing after all this is settled in?
Working. I'm a workaholic. I love work.
Yes.
Honestly, work is just, I know it sounds a bit boring, but I love it.
I do too.
So I miss working, seeing my friends and my family, and
Beating some face down.
All right,
yeah.
people. We've got some audience members, so
It's 12 already.
Yes. 14. All right.
She's frozen.
She's frozen. Anna's frozen for a bit. Well, bear with us just a couple of seconds, guys. Here we are.
There wouldn't be any AFWL catwalk without these three guys. And I'm going to introduce, first of all, Abby May Hopkins, who's our head of makeup design. And Abby, tell us, Abby, how long have you been with us, and
yeah. So I started working with you guys is it 2014?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, so quite a number of years now. I would say that I got roped in by somebody on Facebook who saw that I did makeup, and I just went for the opportunity, and now you guys can't get rid of me because I absolutely love it. Yeah, so I've been doing makeup for about 9 years now. My Instagram is Abby May MUA. I specialise in like photography, makeup, editorials, weddings, a lot of celebrity, photo shoots and beauty shoots, campaigns, anything and everything pretty much to do with makeup. I also run my own agency. My agency is Maida Money Agency, and I look after hair, makeup and nails on my agency, and then put them onto different jobs and all sorts. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
That's great. And we also have in the house Alan Henry, who is our amazing head of hairstyle. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Alan. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, well, I also, like Abby, have been doing Africa Fashion Week London now since 2014. I don't know how I got. I think I did it with the first one I did was with Avalon, Avalon hair product, with Wesley Ricketts, actually.
That's right.
Got me onto it first. I do, hair for many people. I've been doing it for 45 years now. But as far as fashion shows and things go, I've been doing for 30 years, which is a hell of a long time. I've worked with many of the big fashion houses. I also do a lot of celebrities and a few royalty. Africa Fashion Week London is really one of my favorite shows of the year. I look forward to it every year. It's such a shame that this year we're not doing it. It's one of the things I actually absolutely look forward to. I just love the whole ambience of the whole thing. I started work with Tony and Guy in 1976, and I was put on as an assistant to Anthony Mascolo, who most hairdressers know as kind of a matriarch of hairdressing. And from then, I just kind of fell into meeting many people and going on many shoots and things. And I just decided to myself that rather than working in a salon, I'd go down that route. So, there's lots to say as the time goes on today, and lots of stories to tell. So, that's me.
And not last and never least is Samson Zaboye, who is our fashion stylist. So tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Hi everyone. I've worked with AFWL since 2016.
15.
Sorry?
15.
2015. And yeah, it's like a family. I love working with our glam team, Abby and Alan. Was it you that brought me in, Alan? I'm not even sure.
Yes, that's
It was
right.
Alan that brought me in.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've been working on it ever since. I was the one that had the baptism of fire at the Olympia, which was yeah, gone down in memory as like, yeah, if you can get through that, you can get through anything. So yeah, that was the first experience, and it's been going better ever since. So I work with the FW team on the videos, our promotions, the castings, and putting the show together, working with the production, with the choreography, and making sure those looks look fit for catwalk. I'm also a fashion stylist in my own right.
Yes.
I've been doing that for 20 years, editorials and celebrities. And I run the Saboye boutique in Shoreditch, which I've been doing since 2002. And I also have my own fashion line, Saboye, men's and women's wear.
I love the way you just keep adding on, and then I also do.
And I also teach.
Yes.
Exactly. Never forget.
Work it.
Never forget. And I'm going to introduce Michael, which I'm sure if you've been tuning into our webinars over the past couple of weeks, you'll see him as our wonderful host, asking the most beautiful questions. So today, Michael, you're going to help me question these three about what it takes to style the AFWL catwalk. So I think the question, I'm going to ask you guys similar questions because you're all in the same field. So Abby May, if I'm going to come to you, every year you put together your looks that you want to see on the catwalk. How do you actually come about or where's your inspiration coming from when you every year you at least put together like 2 or 3 looks for us for the catwalk, don't you? So how do you come to that?
So I put together 2 looks, so one for each day. I find my inspiration on like Instagram, on, you know, previous fashion shows from all around the world, looking at different trends in like magazines, basically just seeing what's hot and then kind of coming up with something that's a bit unique and also is wearable for the catwalk. A lot of the clothing is very colourful and bright, and you don't want to kind of you know, take over from that. So collectively with the hair, makeup and styling, we always kind of, you know, talk about what we're going to do beforehand. But yeah, taking inspiration from like mainly, to be honest, you know, online, and then what I do is I then create mood boards, get images together. It takes me probably a good month or so just to kind of collect loads of images and then sort of narrow it down to which one I prefer for the Friday and then the Saturday. And I want them to be different as well, just so that, you know, it's a bit more exciting and fun and the pictures look different on both days.
Yes, yeah, you kind of usually do a kind of a monotone look for one day and a high
colourful,
yeah, which is something I really love for you. I think you do colour work really, really beautifully.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favourite looks I'd say that we did was the different coloured eyeliner around the eyes. I think for me that was definitely my favourite.
I remember that. Guys, I will find a picture of that and I'll put it up. I'll put it up before the end of the show. So I'll do that for you. Yeah.
And then just I guess pushing the artists, you know, to do different techniques, you know, not just liner, you know, we can maybe incorporate a bit more in the skin. You know, last year we did more of like a blush look coming up from here down to the eyes, you know, something a little bit different. But yeah, again, just working with the trends that are at the moment.
So what do you think is the difference between editorial makeup and catwalk makeup? Are there things that you really have to think about for catwalk that you don't necessarily have to think about for an editorial shoot? So explain if there's any difference in that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would say for editorial, you know, you're at a photo shoot, so you have to think about like flashback, colors on the skin, you know, making sure your products don't have an SPF in them. SPF is an ingredient that protects you from the sun, which can make you look quite sort of either ashy, quite, you know, pale, or sort of white in the face. So you don't want anything like that. For catwalk look, I would say, you know, there are, how many people even sit in, I don't know, there's hundreds of people that watch the show live. And if, say, someone at the front of the, you know, at the front is watching the catwalk, they'll be able to see a lot more detail than somebody that's sitting all the way far back. So you have to kind of make sure that what you're doing on the face, for instance, with the colourful eyes, we had to make sure they were the brightest colours possible that we had in our kit.
Almost neon, weren't they? They were.
And also adding layers as well, and making sure that, you know, especially under the hot lights, same, there's a little bit similar with the editorial as well. Just making sure that, you know, the makeup's not going to come off, because it does get really hot underneath those lights.
And the girls are working, aren't they, as they're walking?
Oh gosh, yeah. They're stressing.
As they're walking, they're working. Alan, if I could ask you a similar thing, like how do you come up with our looks every year? What, I know you and Alan and you and Abby and Samson talk to each other at least a month before. What's your kind of inspirations for each day? Do you look at what Abby wants to do and then work your looks around that, or do you have a kind of...
Yeah, a lot of the times I do get my inspiration from Abby's makeup. We usually talk about what she's doing with the makeup, and then I go ahead and do it. I also look at a lot of the high-end magazines and what's going on, like just before the season before, and take my look from that and try and get the kind of Western and African and blend it together. Right. And do something like that, you know, and do it like that. The only thing is with Africa Fashion Week London, unlike a lot of fashion shows, you have the one show with the one designer, and you make the look for that. With Africa Fashion Week London, as we all know, there's like 10, maybe 11 designers showing on the same day. And therefore you have to try and please everyone. So simplicity usually is the best way. And sometimes on the day it changes, because, you know, the looks don't really suit what's going on for each designer. I mean, you know, some shows I do in that kind of perspective is that, you know, you change the look for every designer. And with Africa Fashion Week, we don't do that, which is, for me, much better for me to do the one look. I mean, it's like people expect, because it's Africa Fashion Week, you know, plaits and rolls and things like that. This is why I like to put the Western feeling in it as well. Also, as far as the audience goes, as Abby was saying, you know, you can't, it can't be contrived. It has to be a bit larger than life. And in doing that, you can't really do it too much to take over from the designer's clothes. I mean, it's all about the clothes, really. And you find that a lot of shows, they just do like ponytail, slick back, no hair, really. But, you know, I like to incorporate some nice detail in the hair. You know, and I also get inspiration from what young people are doing. You know, like a lot of young people do all these things to their hair, and it's fabulous. You thought they'd had it done. You just thought they had it done by, you know, some high-class hairdresser. And the things they do are quite amazing. I watch what goes on the street, especially in London, and that's where I get most of my inspiration from.
No, that's amazing. Samson, if I come to you, you're slightly different, aren't you? Whereas you're not taking necessarily inspiration and putting looks together beforehand. You're kind of looking at each designer's collection and accentuating it, aren't you? Because you come with the shoes, you come with the bracelets, earrings, handbags, belts, accessories upon accessories, just to style each designer's collection. And it's such a valuable process that you go to, because I do remember there has been a time when AFWL was young, where we didn't have a stylist. So we left the styling up to the designer, so to speak. And if the designer didn't bring bracelets, earrings, necklaces, and you know, things that you would build an outfit with or accentuate an outfit with. Their designs didn't pop. So your job is actually to bring that outfit to life, isn't it?
Well, that is the part of the stylist. I can see 360 vision and see how it can translate on the catwalk. How when the designer brings an outfit, they're only thinking of the outfit because they're in design mode.
Yeah.
And then they're not really thinking about, oh, shoes, hats, bags, whatever, hair or makeup. So when you get the total look, they forget that it's the total look is what actually registers. So if you haven't got the right shoe with the right outfit, can kill it. Look. And then you just have that one earring or that sunglass or hat that just finishes off that outfit and just kind of makes it complete. So those are the things I watch with my eyes. And I think the designers are relieved that they've got the stylist on board that actually pulls it all together. Some of the collections come like with pins and needles still in them, half finished, you know, and they're like, and some collections, like I think 2 years ago we had the bridal wear, the Ghanaian doctor girl that had bought basically everything was transparent, and she hadn't realised that she's going to need underwear to make that work. So those are the things I kind of finish off, make sure that those are the key elements that make sure that that collection doesn't flop on the catwalk.
Yeah, and that's
there's things as well that it's great that we have the fit in, because zips are broken. How we get in and out of the outfit is really important, because the outfit changes are really, really quick. You just unless you're backstage, you have no idea how quick those changes are. You've got no idea of the chaos that is going on backstage to get that model on the catwalk in between changes. So we have to have a little kind of run through and work out what's going to work. Getting access to the outfit as well. Make sure the dressers know what's happening. Put all those bits and pieces together so that everything is ready for that model when she comes out.
Yes, that's so important. I see you laughing, Abby, because I know.
I just love the chaos. I love it. That is honestly half the reason why I love doing this job, because it's just so much fun and like it's very challenging. I just love it.
Yeah, I know that once it's crazy that you'll spend you know, to give the audience a rundown of how we manage the day, the morning before the show, is the models and the hair and makeup set up, and Samson and his team all set up, and the designers' outfits are there, and we're steaming them, and then Alan and Abby get to work on the girls, so they're prepping their makeup, they're prepping the hair, doing the makeup, doing the hair, and then it's like an hour before the show starts, so the girls now have to get dressed. So obviously hair and makeup are now all going to be a little bit smudged, or is it something that are there things that you don't add until the girls are actually finally dressed? Then, for example, like the lipstick, because you know on the lineup just before the show starts, I often see you and Alan running up and down the girls, adding lipstick, touching up hair, touching the hair.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, Africa Fashion Week London has about 2,500 girls.
Yes. I say you have.
Unlike any other show, you know what I mean?
Have 50 or 60. Come on, Alan. 2,000.
Yeah.
It does seem like that, though, doesn't it? It does seem like that.
It does.
There are definitely things that I leave to the very last minute to put on. For instance, moisturizer, you know, making sure the skin, you know, they've got the legs out or the arms or, you know, chest or anything like that, hands even. I don't put any of that on until they're in the dresses, because you just don't obviously want to ruin these amazing designers' dresses. Other things are probably lipstick, because models do actually like to eat, and they usually eat their lipstick whilst they're eating. And other things include like powder. I do that at the very last. So actually I always say to the girls, and I also say to Samson, you know, mind their faces because their foundations aren't set, and I do that at the last very minute, because it just helps the makeup wear a lot longer, because obviously I think the days run about 10 hours or so.
They really do. I'm actually going to share my screen so you guys, the audience, can see Abby May actually touching up our models at the last minute before they come on.
I'm like, quick!
Quick!
I'm like, look down at me, because they're all like 10 feet tall.
They are, aren't they? And yeah, you are quite short.
Yeah.
Comparison. So that, guys, is an example of Abby May at the last minute, just before the girls go on stage, touching up. And I think we've probably got one of Alan in the same. Let me see, in the same
mode.
There you go, Alan. Alan's also doing the last.
And Samson is there.
That's Samson. You're doing the last. What are you doing down there? You're probably pulling something or
pinning something.
Pinning something.
Always something to do at last minute.
Always something to do at last minute.
So where we are there is we're on the bridge part. And what happens is the girls are lining up to literally go onto the catwalk, and then myself and Alan and Samson, we were kind of in and out. We just stand on there and make sure that the girls are literally perfect before they go out. So we stand on there throughout the whole show and have our assistants there as well.
Basically, this is the final touch up. So whatever's not working here, well, it's tough. They're going to be on catwalk.
Whether they like it or not.
So this is like the final check-in. That things are not hanging off where they shouldn't be. Things are pinned in where they should be, and just make sure they're all perfect as can be.
How stressful is it for you guys to do the last minute touching? Is it a kind of, there's a 1 hour to show day, and there's going to be a manic rush? How stressful is it?
The thing is, we gear ourselves up for that. We know that's gonna happen. So especially doing it for the past 6 years. It's more than 6 years, isn't it now? It's like something you it's gonna happen, and that is the best part of the show for me, when it's all manic like that. Do you know what I mean? On that bridge, and then and then the models are quite restless. At that time, they're always touching something or doing something. I mean, I'm forever there screaming and carrying on as I do. Because they're forever touching it. It's right up until they go on. I mean, they're being. I was going to say touched up, but that doesn't sound too good, does it? they're being manipulated just before they go on. So each girl gets that, and guys, because there are guys in the show as well. Don't forget the guys.
Yeah.
Just then, I love that part. For me, that's the exciting part. Here we go.
There's a big adrenaline rush just before you go, because there's a build up. For us, well, me and Anna, the build up starts really from the casting. Day after last year's show, then we're on the next year's show, working out how to build it up, and then it sort of builds up with the promotion. We do the video promotion, which is great, and then we have the build up with the rehearsals, when the girls are getting ready to do the walks and then getting the hair and makeup done. You never understand how you think you've got 4 hours or 5 hours to do hair and makeup. It just goes like that. How's that gone so quick? And then it's like a adrenaline rush, panic, chaos, running around like headless chickens, or as some friends have called me, a runaway slave. Just literally running everywhere to get all right for this show. And then
guys, I want to ask how, because the three of you guys, how important is it for this team spirit with makeup, hair, and the stylists? Because this is, you guys make an essential part of ensuring that Backstage goes perfect. So how important is it to have this very tight team spirit, this cohesion between the three of you guys?
Well, Alan is the firebomb. If he's not diving it up, then there's something wrong. So chaos in some capacity or another. I wonder what's wrong with him. So Abby has very self-contained, does her thing. That's me. I'm doing her, so I don't have to worry about Abby. And then there's me sort of pacifying the models, working between them and production, and the designers that come with their own egos, their own stresses, and their own sort of nervousness. For some of them, it's the first time, and it's a lot riding on it for them. So I sort of pacify all those groups and make sure that everyone, there's no.
I think you know, we as a team working together for so long, we get on well, we do it well. I feel sorry for somebody that would be put in there that doesn't know. It's almost like being on stage. It's theatre, isn't it? And we've been working together per se for quite a while now, and we get it.
We know how each other work.
Yeah, we know how each other works.
But I would say communication is the main key backstage. If there is no communication, it's not going to work. But I do think, you know, we have nailed it with the communication parts. You know, if I have an issue, you know, we'll have little team gatherings sometimes every, I don't know, whenever is needed. We all know what's going on, you know, and then we you know, tell our assistants and people that are helping us to, you know, do our jobs as well.
Yeah, Alan, you mentioned earlier about the that of course you've worked on with all the big fashion houses, and you worked on with lots of big celebrities and you know, catwalk shows and stuff of that sort. And you also mentioned that the major difference because with Africa Fashion Week London, there's so many designers that are being shown at one time. Is there any other big difference between AFWL, you know, doing AFWL, and the same question for you also, Abby and for Samson, between, you know, AFWL and say other catwalk shows? Any other big differences that you can tell?
Oh, no, I wouldn't think so. No, I don't think so, because I mean, you know, for me, African Fashion Week is the ultimate, because of the sheer amount of people and designers and things, you know, that are involved. Whereas the other shows go quite smoothly, because as I said, it's usually one designer showing. I mean, I do a show in Nigeria called GT Bank Fashion Weekend. I do that every year, and I mean, that is the only one that surpasses Africa Fashion Week, because there's hundreds of models and hundreds of designers and hundreds of makeup artists, and it goes very, very smoothly. It does, you know. And I think also that sometimes the bigger shows like what we do go much more smoothly than the individual designer shows, you know. So the difference can be vast or not.
Yes. And Abby?
So I don't do London Fashion Week or anything like that. I do more, well, I do it, but I do mainly like private small designers. So to be honest, it is a lot different for me, because Africa Fashion Week for me is huge compared to just one show, you know, 10 models, one show, and then it's done within a few hours. With this is 2 days, you know, it's like, I don't know, 10, 13 hour days, hours a day, you know, working. And it's also a massive build up. I have a lot more to do with Africa Fashion Week work wise. And yes, I would say it's bigger for me to do this.
How do you find, because I do know that you seem to be an absolute master at nailing the girls' individual skin tones, and we have skin tones that go from the darkest to the lightest, you know, the lightest, and even European skin tone. How do you manage all of those in one show, or you know over the 2 days? Because I know we send you a model, a board of all the girls and all the guys that we have, so you kind of get an idea of the tones that you need. But
I mean, to be honest, I learned how to do foundation matches when that was one of my first jobs. I worked at Space &K in Henley, so actually I didn't do much there because it was majority just, you know, white skin. Anyways, and then I worked at MAC Cosmetics up in Milton Keynes, and that's when I actually learned to do foundation matching. I actually left because I was sick of doing foundation matches, but you know, so after 6 months of doing that, I've honestly could say that I am, you know, a professional in doing that. So to be honest, I don't have a problem with, or you know, I don't find it difficult, should I say, in matching people's skin tones at all. Most of my clients are mixed race, black, all different skin tones. And I just find it really easy. And I feel like if you are a makeup artist and you do not have all of these foundation colours in your kit, then in my eyes, you're just not really a makeup artist. So one thing that I do with, you know, hiring assistants specifically for this job is I ask for their portfolio. You know, if they don't have any models in their portfolio with different skin tones, I don't, you know, let them.
You don't let them loose.
No.
Makes sense.
So do you think, you know, when we have these top black models and, you know, over the few years, you particularly heard them complaining to say that whenever they arrived at catwalk shows, they'd have to bring their own foundation.
Yeah, it's awful.
Because the artist just didn't know how to match their skin.
I think they're booking the wrong makeup artists, in all honesty. It's something that I'm very strong. I feel very strongly about, because it really does frustrate me. And you know, someone like me, if I can do, you know, in MAC terms, an NC 10, which is very, very lighter than me, to a NW 55 or whatever the highest one is, you know, then any makeup artist who's fully qualified and trained can do it. But if you're someone that, you know, that can't, or you know, you don't have those products in your kit, don't say yes to the job.
Right.
You know, I even have makeup friends who I've said, oh, would you like to assist me? And they said, oh, you know, I don't really have a lot of foundations in my kit, and I'm not, you know, I just don't know how to do it. I'm, you know, why are you a makeup artist?
Well, there goes the show.
It just frustrates me. I could go on about this for hours, but you know, it is a shame that people, you know, models do have to bring their foundations, but I think that comes down to the production and booking the wrong makeup artist. I'm sure Alan has a lot of stories about this too with hair.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same. It is the same. It's such a shame, really, because it is the same with hair. You know, you get a lot of people coming onto this scene, should I say, or into this industry that just do one trick wonders. I mean, they can only do a certain type of thing, but they get booked for jobs that have a variation of stuff, and they really can't do it, and you know, they do it not to the best that it should be. You know, it's just I mean, that's a whole long thing to talk about, but that's what happens. You also get a lot of people that do editorials that can't do hair and makeup for shows and stuff like that. It's a whole different ball game. Do you know what I mean?
Got to be quick.
And it really is. And you know, they get booked for these jobs. I don't know who books them, but somebody does. And like me and Abby out there, there's people like me and Abby there that can do everything. You know, I like my assistants to be able to do everything. I mean, I trained at Turning Guy as a European hairdresser. I never touched Afro hair for the first 10 years of my hairdressing life. You know, and as I say to people, it's the same. You know, hair is hair. After all, it's like a designer with material. You cut it, you shape it. The hair is the material, you know, and you do it like that. There's a lot of hairdressers that only do avant-garde stuff. You know, they couldn't cut a bob or something like that, but they get booked for these kind of jobs. It's kind of gone a bit squiffed, as to say, you know, in the industry.
Alan, I want to, because I've heard you say that before, and I'm sure you've heard also that lots of hairstylists would say that, oh, there is a difference between Afro hair and European hair. And of course, we know there's ranges in between there. For people understanding that there is hair indeed, when you're trying to make someone understand that hair is hair, how do you break it down for them to really be able to see that, to understand the complexity of the hair, but still understand that it takes the same sort of commitment to work with the hair? How do you do that?
Oh God, with great difficulty. It's like, you know, as long you need to be able to, you can manipulate the hair to what you want it to be, right? So, i.e., if somebody came with an afro and they wanted their hair straight, we blow dry the hair straight. Or you straighten it and then work from it like that. You don't try and get the bob from the afro. You know, it's like you've got to be able to manipulate the hair and take it down to the degree where it's you can manipulate it and apply what you need to apply. You know, it's just working with your material. Yeah. You know, and a lot of people will find that quite difficult because they're fighting against what they're not meant to be fighting against. You know, just do it as such.
Absolutely. Samson, I want to, because you as our head stylist and an amazing designer yourself, when you're in this, you know, at AFWL, and oftentimes, as we all know, the designers don't show up until maybe the day before or sometimes on the day. And then they come and they see Abby and Alan, who already have something set in terms of hair and makeup, what it's going to be. And this designer comes and is giving you a whole lot of rah, and very lots of difficult. How do you handle that and try to make sure by the time they get to Alan and Abby that they're calmed down and being able to cooperate?
Samson sends them straight to us.
I know how Alan deals with it.
Well, you've got to manage the designer's expectations. It's not about them; they're part of a collective. So I've got to, and they do think it is about them, and you have to really break it down for them and say, look, you know, you can't have that hair because we've got 10 different shows. We're not going to have that hair, or they come with certain requirements. We have to break that down very quickly and say, look, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, sometimes I get asked, you know, can we change the lip colour? I'm like, well, no, we just don't have time, you know. You've got 3 or 4 minutes until they have to change from the previous one to their one. It's just not going to work.
I work with Fashion Weekend Gambia, and I've been doing that for 4 years as well. And we had one girl that was doing a bridal collection, and she wanted gold lips, and we said no, we're not going to have that. But she didn't take no for an answer, and literally was wiping model's lipstick off the minute before going on. So we were delayed, and she got her gold lips, and it worked.
Yeah,
but it really stressed.
Time.
It really stressed everyone out. But she was really adamant, and we just thought, you know what, we'll put you on at last, so that we can do something with the lips. But yeah, if designers are really adamant, sometimes it's we pretend that they're going to get what they want. And we try and pacify and tell them that, yeah, you will get it, we'll get it. Yeah, fine, we'll get to you in a minute. But then think, yeah, well, hell no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Don't understand.
Of course, you know, we want to make sure that, you know, they're happy with their clothing on, the models, you know, and the hair and the makeup. But sometimes it's just not possible. Like sometimes their expectations can be a little bit out of hand, or, you know, too high.
You only get the odd one. You don't, you know what I mean? You don't get, it's the odd one, and they're quite easy to deal with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Leave them to me.
At the end of the day, we're not noticing the lip colour. It's about the clothes, just making sure that everything works. So it's the clothes that pop in, not the makeup. It's not a hair and beauty show.
Exactly.
So we need to let them know it's not. Yeah, when you do your own show with your own team and your own budgets, then you can demand.
Yeah.
Although indeed, guys, you know, here at AFWL, everyone, as blunt as these guys are right now, they have to be blunt, because they have to tell you exactly like it is very stressful. And as Alan and Abby and Samson and already said, that it's not just one designer. Sometimes there are about 15 designers, and then you have all these models. There's so much going on backstage. Alan, I want to ask you something. So sometimes, and for you, Abby, when you see a model, because, you know, sometimes people have breakouts, or, you know, something might be going on with them. How do you guys handle last week when a model all of a sudden has a major breakout where it goes, you know, maybe an eczema flare up, or skin, you know, something's popped up on the face? How do you guys handle those kinds of surprises?
In all honesty, I don't think any of the models have ever had like any major breakouts, or like anything. It might be like the odd pimple, but, you know, a bit of concealer, you just cover it. You know, there's nothing. I can't, as I could go on them, like, let me just squeeze your spot. I can't, you know, can't really do that. But to be honest, these models are professional. They do look amazing, and they are booked, you know, because they do look great, and they have lovely clear skin. And, you know, the odd pimple, I don't care, skin, like, we're all gonna get a pimple here and there, but you know, I've never had to deal with like anyone that's had like a major breakout. I mean, on a editorial shoot, I've had someone with, oh, what's it called? It's completely gone out. What's Winnie Harlow got? Sorry. Yeah, that's the one.
Right.
And you know, you have to change your technique slightly, but never anything out of the ordinary.
That must be difficult.
No, it's
in terms of when you have someone beautiful, as like for Danny, Winnie Hart, she's beautiful, and then you have to, you know, you have two different types of foundation, and you have to be working. Oh, that must be extraordinary.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't personally worked with Winnie Harlow. I've worked with another model who has like Invertigo. Have a look at my portfolio. You can have a look at pictures. But yeah, to be honest, it's just really easy. It's just common sense. It might take a little bit longer than normal, but not really. Maybe an extra 4 minutes or something, but no, not really.
And Alan, for you?
No, I've never really had anything like that. I mean, you know, I think it was last year I had a couple of problems with hair with the girls, with a couple of girls. You know, one had a complete breakdown, screaming and shouting. You know, and because she's got afro hair, really afro hair, and one of my assistants wasn't handling the hair very well, and she kind of made a big hoo-ha of it, which was quite upsetting. Do you remember that, Abby?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was quite upsetting. And then you know, she ended up crying, which is such an awful thing to see someone, you know,
I had to fix her makeup.
Yeah,
you had to redo her makeup.
Yeah, and there was and then there was another girl a few years ago that, you know, she came with a wig on, and me presuming that was her hair, and when it was time for me to do her hair like everybody else's, she took the wig off. I couldn't believe it. And and the hair, and she didn't have hair to do what all the other girls had. You know, and that was a bit distressing, really, for me. You know, but you know, I dealt with it. I'm used to dealing with things, you know, quite quickly. You know, nip it in the bud and deal with it how it's done. But no, I've never had a major. No, nobody's hair's fallen out or anything like that.
So actually, that's a good point, Alan. I'm glad you raised it. What advice do you give to new models starting out who may have been booked for their first ever catwalk show? What do they have to do the first day they arrive for the show? I mean,
come as you are. Come as you are.
So
Yeah. Then
that's the hair out.
Yeah. They need to come. They need to come as they are. After all, they're a canvas for us artists to work on. So they need to come plain as they are. You know. No, you know, I do insist that the girls don't have extensions in when they come, or wigs and things like. Come as you are naturally, as a canvas. We will do the rest.
Alan, I want to ask you something with that. In prepping, because no wigs, no hair extensions. Tell me what else they shouldn't have with their hair or should do with their hair. That's
the hair should be clean. For one, you know, when they come to the job, wash the hair, have the hair washed, and just come as it is. That's what we're there for.
No.
Come as it is. Even if they come with the nappy hair and the hair's meant to be straight, I will straighten it. You know, by whichever means necessary, whether it be blow drying or using the straighteners or whatever. They need to come as a plain canvas. Simple.
Yeah, same with makeup. Some girls come with, well, we always ask and say, you know, come with no makeup on, no eyelashes, no I can't think.
Blank canvas,
like nothing.
Nothing.
Eyelash extensions as well, because when you're doing eye makeup, the eyeshadow can fall onto the eyelashes, and it takes a little bit longer. And then also nails, come with nothing on your nails, because I do bring a couple of colours just to paint them if they look a bit.
Just a blank canvas.
Samson, someone asked if we get in touch with the designers beforehand to, you know, because once you guys get together and you know what the lookbook is going to be, you know, and you know what it's going to be like in terms of you decided Do you get in touch with the designers to let them know?
I've
Okay,
actually answered this online, but I've said we would like to, but unfortunately it's just not possible to do that. So we worked with looks and hair and makeup that works across a cross section of collections. So we know that every collection, that hair and that makeup is going to work. So we had a bigger client in who makes the fabrics, and they'd worked with a designer separately to make the collections. They don't actually make the clothes, but they make the fabric. And they were quite particular about what they wanted. And they had jewelry and headpieces and all sorts of things going on for the hair and makeup. So it was quite challenging to get what they wanted out of it. But we got there in the end, and just letting them understand that, I mean, it was their first time with us. And it was a great collection, but we had to really mention what was needed. A lot of designers don't tell us that they've got hats on the collection, which is like...
Alan!
Again, I'm remembering last year. You see, I'm remembering last year.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah, so that can be a challenge, and we need to know these things ahead of time. That's really what I plan, that there might be some headpieces, and then we work it within what we're doing. But yeah, that can really work our nerves at the very last minute.
Very last.
So,
Do you know
but
what?
with that, go on.
Sorry, Michael. That's
Yeah.
probably a production problem, that we're not giving you guys enough information about designers and what they're actually bringing. But then again, sometimes we don't even know what
You don't
designers.
They
even
change
know.
their minds last minute sometimes as well, which is
That's
also,
true.
you know, a little bit difficult, especially when you're trying to get the communication round to, you know, hair, makeup, styling, production, models, everyone at the last minute.
Yeah.
No, what you guys mentioned about the hats and hair pieces, especially not knowing this stuff. Alan is giving some looks now. Alan is giving some looks, let me tell you. Aside from hats and hair pieces, what are some other challenges that for hair and makeup that you guys face? You know what you mean, from the designer that, you know, coming
I
through.
tell you what my pet hate is, right? And it happens all the time. When, you know, my back may be turned or might be out the room, and the designer starts
Fiddling.
manipulating the hair. Right? They've got their hands in their hair, or I suddenly come back and the girls have all got hats on, crushed the hair, their hair's all over the place, and they're pushing the hair underneath this hat. Now, the thing for me, and I always say it, I say it quite plainly and loudly, if you have hats in your design, then please allow my assistants to put the hat on. They will know how to put it on to keep the hair in place. And that is a pet hate of mine. It happens every year.
Yeah, it does.
And you see me, I end up fighting with people. Not fighting, but verbally. I just have to look at them and they know anyway. You know, sometimes sometimes it gets a bit out of hand. Do you know what I mean? And I always have to have the upper hand. So there you go.
Abby?
Diva. I don't know. I think other than what I said earlier about, you know, maybe changing the lipstick or something, that's pretty much it. They usually like what we do, to be honest.
I try and make sure that the designers are respectful of the teams. They understand that this is hair, this is makeup. They can't have the requests that they want, but we'll try and facilitate as much as we can, and just not be rude to any of the members of our team. That is really where I take a pet hate to rudeness, and when designers think it's all about them, and that is, I mean, I know they can't help it sometimes because they're just anxious. They've been working on the collection, maybe their first time, and they're traveling and what have you. But it really needs to all be simmering and not exploding. So I make sure that that's all, that we're not got any dramas, violent or verbal, behind the scenes that everyone knows what they're doing.
I've got a question, just so people can kind of understand the kind of teams that you work with. Abby, how many people do you actually bring on board? So if we have a model core of about 50, 60 models, you know, how big is your team to work on the model core?
So if we had 60 models, I try to get 15 makeup artists, and that's so they can have about 4, yeah, is that right? About 4 models each.
Yes.
Purely because I don't like things to be rushed. I like things to be perfect. I always allow for sickness if any makeup artists do fall sick, because that does happen, and they're not available, you know. So yeah, I mean, I do overcompensate with my team, but I think, yeah, I always have more than 10, between 10 and 15, to be honest. And in the morning, doing 4, maybe 5, maybe 6 models each is enough. They should be capable of doing that, because I always pick my artists by looking at their portfolio, looking at what they've done previously, and making sure that they're actually going to be, you know, capable of doing it, because it is really fast paced and it is a lot of work and it is a lot to do. You know, you're stood on your feet for 13 hours of the day, which is normal for me, by the way. I've been doing this for years and it's totally normal and I love doing it. But maybe some assistants who I do have, you know, haven't got the experience that maybe I have. So I always make sure by looking at what they've done previously that they're, you know, able to do it, really.
Stamina. It's the stamina.
It is stamina. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And comfortable shoes.
And Samson, how big's your dressing team, and how much training actually do you have to, or how much responsibility do you give because I think you have 2 teams, don't you? You have a stylist team that you head up, and also that you manage the dresses as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, how much responsibility do you give the dressers to actually help style all the girls that are coming through?
I have a core team that go with me every year, you know, Theo and my girls that work there, and they're professionals from a long time. They're industry kind of veterans, if you like. So nothing that phases Theo, and I need her to calm me down. So so I'm busy calming everyone else down, and at some point I'm going to explode. So Theo's on board for that to keep me calm. And then I have Simone, who approached me as a stylist. So other parts of my team are people that want to be stylists or are stylists and that know the run-ins, but have not been involved in a production as big as AFWL. So they want to get in and learn the ropes. So they're very capable in their own right. They have to be capable. They have to have initiative. They can't keep running up to me every 5 minutes. How do you do this? How do you do that? I mean, they're part of the team because they are extensions of me, if you like. Yeah. And they've got my back, and making sure that all the things that I need them to run out and do, they can do. And it's not for them to be me or to be in competition with me. I've had that where I've had teams that they're only there so they can actually pinch you as their client.
Yeah, so, that happens a lot.
Yeah, and I've clocked those ones very early on. I had one girl in the first year that we did AFW that I did, and she was never anywhere to be found when I needed her. Always had hobnobbing with the designers and passing her number out. So she was not there the second day. Rid of her, because I thought that's not the kind of person I need on my team at all. And I make that clear from the get-go. This is a job. We're professionals. You're not here to have a party. You're not here to promote yourself. We'll notice you if you're good by how discreet and loyal and hardworking you've been. Show yourself by the work you do, not by the hobnobbing and networking that you're doing. So I need people that are tolerant, respectful, eager to work, hardworking, and they're not gonna, if you say, I need you to go to the shop and get coat hangers, or go to Primark and get some underwear, you know, granny knickers or something. They can do that and come back quickly. They're not looking in 15 different shops and coming back 2 hours later. So speed, immediacy, sense of urgency, that's really important actually, a sense of urgency. These people that think they've got all day to mooch around, no. So they've got to be quick, fast, think on their feet, and not be like, if I shout at them, it's not personal. It's like, just get on with it. Don't let me see you crying in the corner because I've had a little go at you. Just get on with it, toughen up, and just get on with the job in hand.
Of course.
And Alan, how big's your team that you?
Well, it's quite small, really. The core team is quite small. I mean, I think, you know, there's three people that I rely on every year. Do you know what I mean? One in particular is Rihanna Henry. She's, you know, I like her. She keeps it
Yeah.
going. Do you know, but I tend to have a small, maybe 5 or 6, and then have maybe 5 like people that are what I would call apprentices, you know, or you know, that assistants. They're the real assistants. I think if I have too many, it gets a bit too complicated. For one, I just need people that do. And having said that, every year I find it very difficult to get assistants. You know, and it's you know, and you know, I do panic sometimes, but then I realized after years that the smaller the team for me, the better it works. You know, I would like to have 15 like Abby, and I did in the beginnings. But then I had 15 people, and only 6 of them would be working. The rest would be flouncing around, looking at the dresses, and you know, they get taken over. You know, I understand it because they, you know, it's all quite much for somebody that's never been in that field to see all that going on, and they lose their mind. And then I'll be running around spending most of the time looking for them. So having said that, you know, I mean, next year, if we're doing next year, I presume next year we'll be on, I will be going to colleges and stuff to look for assistants because I think it's necessary, because it's necessary to teach these people the real way of it is. And I usually get people that are flouncing in and out of hairdressing, or they want to be, they're hairdresser. I'm a hairdresser, makeup artist, designer, singer, and all that. You know, I don't want people like that. I want somebody that, you know, I like
dedicated.
people. Dedicated. I myself did an apprenticeship, and it was 3 years before I was allowed to even touch anybody. You know, not even wash.
Even if they're coming from even if they're coming down from the Brixton salons, Alan.
Yeah, and all that palaver, and they just, you know, it's for me, you know, it just.
They're not the Brixton salons. They're some of the best for the Afro hair.
I'm
actually going to share my screen. Sorry and this is just a look at. This was last year's Backstage.
Yeah, that's right.
This is the kind of, you know, busyness that you guys work in. I know.
The picture shows it calm. This is the calm.
Yeah, this is the calm. Absolutely. But there is a, you know, your team here is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've got like 6 or 7 people working.
Yeah.
Working on the girls' hair.
Yeah, and see, and all these people here that you can actually see are key people. I had no really assistants as such, people that don't really. These are all proper, well-established hairdressers.
They're very good at what they do.
They want to transfer into shows and stuff. You know, they've been working salons and stuff. They want to. That's the kind of people I really, really like to be doing. I don't want any person that's just going to be, you know, there for the sake of being there, for the grandeur of it all. Do you know?
Yes. Makes sense.
So what advice do you guys give stylists who, as you say, Alan, have worked at salons and want to transfer to shows? Is there a natural transference? I mean, how long do people have to be working in a salon before, or what do they have to do to actually?
They need to get on to, you see, London Fashion Week and things like that. Most of the fashion weeks that go on all around the world, they have team leaders. People like Sam McKnight and Trevor Sorby's team and Eugene Solomon. You need to get onto them and assist. So you guys are assistants, and they will pay your travel around the world to go to all these fashion weeks. I mean, you don't really get paid for it as an assistant, but you know, as time goes on, you get involved. You know, they need to get on to one of these key people. You can't just get into this business like, you know, stepping out of a salon, like I'm going to now be a session hairdresser or do the shows. You need to get on with a team leader. And once you get on with a team leader and they see the potential, then you'll go very far, because there's many.
If someone sends you a DM with their Instagram handle, and on their Instagram handle they have, you know, posts of all the kind of work that they do, you wouldn't consider them?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I would. I'd like to. I would like to see what they have done, because you know, a lot of people you can say, "Oh, I did this for that," and you never did it at all. You know what I mean? The The days of portfolios are over.
Mm.
You know, people don't carry a portfolio around anymore. So you can't really, you have to go by what they say, or on if they have a website. Not everybody that is in that caliber has a website even, you know. So, you
So
know, you've got
Instagram,
to,
social media is
yeah,
show your stuff on social media. That's your portfolio, more or less. Is that correct, Abby?
Yeah, I mean, people say I'm a bit of a social media whiz.
you are.
I find my assistants through Instagram, to be honest. What I do is I put out a post on my stories. I put out, you know, I look for these assistants months in advance. In fact, half a year in advance for this show, purely because most people are already booked up. They're doing weddings and things, because this does fall on a weekend. And also I'm very specific. So I want, in fact, one year, I think it was last year, I had about 80 people apply to be an assistant on this show with me. And it did take me quite a long time to actually go through all of the portfolios. And, you know, I'm very specific. They have to have different skin tones in their portfolio. That's the main thing for me. You know, being creative and making sure that their application is good, and not, you know, just looking at photos and just seeing that it's like fully photoshopped, and, you know, because that's not about being a makeup artist, you know, just photoshopping all of your imperfections and things. I like to see, you know, real skin. So that's definitely something that I do. I'll just talk through like how I go, you know, collecting my team together. So then once I have, say, about 15 makeup artists that I like, I email them, ask them if they're available. They usually say yes, and then if a couple aren't, then I'll go, you know, back in and see, you know, fill up the numbers again. I then create a WhatsApp group and put them all in there. If they want to ask any questions, I basically send out maybe 2 or 3 emails, one of the model board, the 2 mood boards for both of the days. I go into like real detail, even specific things like what to wear, you know, wear all black, wear comfortable shoes. Yeah, email them like, you know, date, location, like a call sheet type thing. I really go into a lot of detail, and also tell them from the get-go, you know, this is hard work. You will be on your feet for about 13 hours for both days. And, you know, let me know if you're up for it, type of thing. And then, yeah, we have a lot of like discussions in the WhatsApp group. We post all the pictures. I hire my own photographer, my own videographer, just for the makeup team, just to get, you know, as much content as possible, and especially for the artists, so that I give them the photos, and, you know, it's something that I give back to them as well. And if they have any questions, we have that, like, you know, community in the WhatsApp group of, you know, asking anything they need.
I want to ask you guys, Alan, you have just been around the world. You're a legend in the industry. You really are. And you know, and it's just extraordinary. Everybody knows you. I mean, from the royals to, I mean, everybody. Now, let me ask you guys, both for you, Alan, Abby, Samson, also, I want to ask you guys, how important is the AFWL platform, working on the AFWL platform, knowing that you have, you know, you guys work on other platforms also, but what is so special about the AFWL platform for you guys? Alan, starts with you.
Oh God, do you have to?
I do. You know why? Can I tell you why? Because you are so respected in the industry internationally, and you have the opportunity to work on every platform there is, but you always make sure, and I'm sure the kind of to keep it 100, you know, the kind of money that you make on other platforms, I'm sure is very different from, not very different, but different from what you get at AFWL platform. And there must be something about AFWL platform that is so special to you. So can you share with us what that is?
God, it's such a question to answer. I just love it. Do you know what I mean? I just love it. And it's I tell you what, it done for me working with Africa Fashion. It opened me up to introduce me to fashion in Africa. Whereas the show I do in Nigeria, and I've done one in Nairobi and I've done Johannesburg, you know, it opened me up to that. And therefore, you know, I just love it. I just love to. I feel a part of it. I feel like I'm a part of the hierarchy of the Africa Fashion Week London. I feel great when I go there. I look forward to it so much. I can't tell you more than any show I do. That and my Nigeria show are for me the favourites. Do you know what I mean? And you know, dare I say it, I do like the team.
And so before you did any other shows in Africa, Africa Fashion Week London was the first one you did.
That was the first, yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
I got introduced to many people approached me at the first one I did.
Yes.
And then also that Princess Ronke introduced me to people in Nigeria and recommended me for things, you know, and I got a lot of, and I like those shows. They're so diverse and so colourful, and the models are just beautiful. You know, everyone's quite happy to be there. I just love it. I can't, you know, as I say, it's my favourite, and I've done many, as you can imagine, high-ranking shows. But to me, that's what I look forward to. It's not even work for me. It's pleasure. It's a pleasure.
That's wonderful. And your family. And for the audience, for those of you who don't know, Princess Ronke Ademiluyi is the founder of Africa Fashion Week London, Africa Fashion Week Nigeria. And Alan, for what you said just now means so much, because it's, I know for us, your family, and for audience listening and people who are tuning in on Facebook, we're all Facebook Live also, everyone. Alan is a big deal. As I said, he's a legend. I just don't use that word lightly. And for him to come to
his
always
head's gonna get massive in a second.
I know, right?
That's Downing. I've been there, done that.
See what I told you? Exactly. And so for Alan to always say, you know what, this is home. This is AFWL is home, and you always come back to us, and you know, and the loyalty. That's the thing with this team, guys. Loyalty is hard work, and it's the wonderful camaraderie and loyalty between us that keeps us coming back. You know, and that's pretty special. So, Alan, thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, my input in that is that I like working with the teams. Alan, you are family. I worked with Alan on the street style. Alan, remember those days?
I loved it. That's another love of mine.
And it's great that Africa really is on the world scale and global now. Yeah. And, you know, that we understand that Africa isn't just one country. It is a continent with every shade in between, so white to very dark ebony black. So we embrace all of that and show that the narrative is switching up the narrative. We haven't been accepted into the mainstream London Fashion Week, but hey, we're going to do our own thing in our way with the models that we choose and in the way we want to do it. And that's what's important. It's the collaborative effort of changing the narrative and showcasing and platforming a different perspective.
Precisely so. And AFWL, for all of you listening and tuning in, is that it's a platform that gives everybody, African designers to African-inspired designers, the opportunity to be showcased on a platform that is worthy and that's internationally respected, that gets the sort of visibility and support from the biggest brands. One of our designers from Precious Lulu in South Africa was saying that after being at AFWL platform, she was featured in Vogue Italia. The New York Times and CNN contacted NL watches, not fabric, clothes, watches. I mean, it's just incredible. So this is the kind of platform that, you know, having the big people like Alan on board and Abby on board means a lot to us, and for the loyalty that you guys have to stay here and to keep supporting us means a lot. Abby, I want to bring that question to you also, because as a obviously non-African person working on board,
isn't she?
Oh my God, I know, because
honorary African.
It is in the blood, darling. It's in the blood. Abby, how important, how has it been for you working on this platform? What does it mean for you working on the platform? So how has it been, and what does it mean for you working on the AFWL platform?
I honestly love it. I do. I mean, I've been and attended as an attendee to quite a few London Fashion Week shows. They're just so, like, maybe I shouldn't say this, but they're so boring. Like, Africa Fashion Week is not like that. There's so much more diversities, more colourful. There's so much more like character, and I can't really describe the buzz. You just don't get that in any other show any other show that I've ever been to anyway. It's just so fun, and you know, obviously I'm not African, but I don't care. I love doing it, and I'm good at what I do, and that's the reason why I am the head makeup artist for Africa Fashion Week.
You better say that. Can you say that again for the people in the back? Say that again, Abby. For the people in the back. Say it again.
People in the back. I don't care. No, I just think, like, you know.
You are the what? You are the what? You said you are the what? You are the head
makeup artist.
That's right.
Honestly, when I tell people that, when I go on jobs and they're like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I've been doing this for years. And they're like, okay. Like, yeah, because I'm good at what I do. And, you know, I don't just have white makeup artists on my team. I have a mixture. And that's what I love about Africa Fashion Week, is that it is diverse and you can be whoever you want to be. You know, everyone's always welcome at this show, and no one cares what you wear or, you know, what you look like. And that's just, honestly,
actually, that's wrong. We do care. We care very much. Take that back.
Samson, you're more customer facing. You have to get that slightly more.
Go ahead, Abby. You were saying, you're going to say something else, Abby?
No, I think that's it, to be honest.
Can I say something?
And you guys have welcomed me, you know, and I do feel like part of the family, and I love it. I honestly look forward to it every year, and I get such a buzz out of it. I love it.
You are part of the family, Abby, man.
Well, can I say that Abby is an exceptional makeup artist when it comes to dark skin, as well as any kind of skin. I mean, if somebody, as they often do, ask me to recommend somebody for me, I would always recommend Abby, and I can't say that about many others, and especially a lot of the Afro makeup artists that are around. I would send Abby first and foremost, more than anyone else.
I was working with, remember that show we did in Peckham, Anna Marie? And
in where?
Peckham. To get that under my breath. But
I remember that show.
But you wouldn't let me go. They were using, it was a charity show, and they were using students from, I won't say the name of the college, but the students just did not know how to apply the makeup on the black girls. They didn't understand how to put pigment on in a way in the depth. And I was wondering about the education of new artists coming up. Certainly in the kind of mainstream education, they're just not getting the training. And I think that's something that maybe you might want to consider going in and teach. They cannot be a makeup artist learning it and not knowing how to do skin color.
No, absolutely not. I feel so strongly about it.
The best training, as I said, especially in our field, the best training is to assist somebody like Abby and like myself. You're not going to learn these things in the colleges or in the institution. You are not. No. Simply not. There's no two ways about it. You're not. You have to go, if you really want to be in the caliber that we are, or even in that kind of industry, in this industry, you need to attach yourself to a team or someone that is doing that. You're not going to learn it from the teachers that they have in college, the educators. They're people that have just learned the basics of hairdressing.
Yeah. And
the science of hairdressing. Well, there's no science in our part of the industry. You know, you're designing, or you're making. You know, you're painting, or it's art. It's art. It's artistry. You can't learn to be an artist.
I can speak from experience. I did a 2-year makeup course. I did level 2 and 3 hair and media makeup diploma. So I have certificates and everything. I did not learn about how to do different skin tones because everyone in my class looked like me. So that's the reason why I went on to working at Space & then realised there was absolutely no diversity in Henley. And then I went and worked in MAC in Milton Keynes, as I was saying earlier. And that's honestly where I learned how, you know, a bit more about skin and different skin tones. But I do agree with you, Alan. You know, assisting someone is honestly the best thing that you could possibly do. My sister is actually learning to do makeup, and I've told her, don't bother doing the second year, get your certificate for the first year so you learn the basics, and then second year you're with me. So that's all I can advise. But also make sure you do, I would say, do 1 year of college so that you can get your certificate and you can get insured, because you will not get insured without a certificate.
That's key, isn't it? That insurance is very key. So I have a proposition for both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you guys are dropping here today are serious, serious gems. I propose you both, because you know we have a masterclass, the Africa Fashion Week London masterclass is coming up very soon. So audience, look out for that. The Africa Fashion Week masterclass is going to be dropping very, very soon. We'll drop some promo for that. And I think it would be great for both of you individually to have your own masterclasses.
Yeah, I'm actually planning on doing one at the moment. It's in planning, yeah.
Oh, well, we'd love for you guys to jump on board with us, because I think, you know, it is what you're dropping today. I mean, I'm learning lots of new things, and I'm not even in hair or makeup. Obviously, I'm not in here, but you know.
Oh, gosh.
But no, it'd be wonderful if you guys. So, is that a yes from both of you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So audience, you hear it here, that you want to get more on their secrets and how to make things happen, they're going to be doing a masterclass. We'll drop the
Follow me on Instagram, Abby May, MUA.
Yes, and what are your Instagram handles? If you're going to say that now, you'll get to do it again at the end. But Abby, what is your Instagram handle?
So Abby May, MUA, ABBIE MAY MUA.
Alan?
What's that?
I created his Instagram.
Your Instagram.
now I must say, I'm not very computer literate. Go and laugh, everyone.
You don't say.
So I don't, you know, I have one which Abby set up how much years ago, which I'd never even looked at once.
He doesn't even have a profile picture.
Which is an Alan Henry hair. But I shall get on it. I shall start. I'll try.
I should start. Well, guess what? For those of you, we just talked about how you can drop. Alan just mentioned that if you drop, if you slide in his DMs, that's the new term. If you slide in his DM and you let him know and show on your Instagram your posts of the work that you're doing, maybe you can do some training. So you can start by being one of his assistants in making sure that his Instagram is up to scratch and updated. I'm just saying. What is your Instagram handle, Samson?
Samson _Saboye. Simple.
Wow. Amazing. And by the way, if you guys have not been down to the Saboye boutique in Shoreditch, you are missing out. There's some gems in there. I've been trying to get a discount myself, but you know, my brother is holding back from, you know, but we're working on that. We're working on that, aren't we?
Multiple purchases will get you the discount, Mike.
Okay.
Alan does have an Instagram profile picture. It's Alan Henry Hair, in case you didn't know Alan.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that.
ALLAN Henry Hair.
I think we should just take it over and just post pictures. But
when the world comes back to normal and we start working normal again, I will be looking for assistance. If anybody out there,
there you go.
You heard it here first.
As long as you've got a passport, you're fine.
So Samson, let's come to you, because I know you have a lot of people wanting to learn how to be stylist or how to be a stylist. What are the qualifications that you kind of look for, or is there any? Or I mean, for example, do you take students who are already in fashion, working in fashion, would like to be stylists, or how do you choose?
I've got to be able to see, first of all, and I've got to be able to have a bit of a fashion sensibility, and they've got to understand that it just isn't just all about the glamour. They see the pictures in the magazines, they see the shows front of stage, and they think, this is what I want to do. But it's really understanding behind the scenes work. When I used to do shoots, the actual shoot is like 10%, 20% of the job. The preparation is phenomenal. Getting outfits from various PRs, designers, and then doing all the returns, and then you've got to do the credits on top of it. So by the time you've got to the shoot, you've already done a week's worth of work. So you've got to understand the preparation is key to making a show or a shoot go well. So yeah, I mean, I just need someone that's got passion, someone that's interested, polite, eager to work. It's not a 9 to 5. No. I'll repeat that. It is not a 9 to 5. You will be working long hours. We can work through the night sometimes. When we were doing the street style one, Alan, we worked through the night to get the looks ready for the next day. And it's not someone that says, oh, I need to go home and feed my cat at 8 o'clock or something. It's not, do you know what I mean? This is someone that has to be prepared to work all night until we got the job done or getting the job done.
I don't have a dog.
And be prepared to travel, be prepared to do your own shoots as well, show initiative, commitment, and a loyalty to it, actually. Loyalty is kind of the thing I'm looking for now, because a lot of people just want to jump on the bandwagon and say that it worked with me or for me to get their own gigs. That's all fine. I'm about letting people learn and grow, but do your time as well. You know, do what you need to do within that time and learn as much as you can learn, but also give what you're learning as well.
Samson, would you say that in order to get started, also like how Alan and Abby talked about having how training is so important and trying to jump on just interning, so is it a similar thing for a stylist also?
Yeah, well, I've had a few good assistants, and from 1 week to the next, there's no 2 weeks the same ever. I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years, and every shoot, every job has something different about it. And the diversity and the variety is what's key. If you're looking for like something to be consistent and regular, this is not the job for you. This is really, I mean, you've got to think on your feet. It's fast paced. It's unrelentless, unforgiving. But the rewards are you work with some great people, create some great imagery. With a shoot, the images are lasting. So you create the shoot, build up a story with pictures. And I like working with clothes and color and working with a glam team to create a whole look. So when you see models when they turn up and then you transform them. So the transformative magic part of it is what I love, where you can take a blank canvas and make them to a goddess or into a queen. And that's all doable with just clothes, hair, and makeup.
And it's funny you should say that, because that is absolutely, I get stunned every year with what you guys do to the models. You know, the models can come in the mornings and they're my height, and you know, I'm not tall, I'm not short, but you know, they're my height, and you know, they got clean face, clean hair, and they're rushing in, and by the time they're ready to go on the catwalk, they're Amazonial, beautiful 6-foot+ girls that I can barely recognize. You know, it's the transformation is absolute magic. It's absolute magic.
It's alchemy. It will happen. That I've never got over how amazing that is to see. So it's using the craft to create something otherworldly. That's what excites me about it. How far we can push it and how far we can get great looks. It's all about the looks.
So how far do you think that we can push when we finally get back on stage and we open again for Africa Fashion Week, whenever we do?
Well, the sky is no longer the limit. We can push beyond universes. We can go beyond and beyond.
What do you say, Abby? Where do you think? Okay, what were you planning for this year's show? What do you think that you're planning for this year's show?
Oh,
did you have anything in mind?
I did. To be honest, I wanted to do something I hadn't done before, and that's
if you can share it.
I can share it. I still wasn't 100% sure, but I knew that I wanted to apply things to the skin, but like pretty textured, possibly like iridescent. I don't know, I just didn't really know what I wanted, but I just knew that I wanted something a little bit different and pretty, but like simple skin for one of the days, with like pretty iridescent. For instance, there's this, I can't remember the brand or the company, but they do these iridescent liners, but you stick them on. It almost looks a bit like flimsy cardboard.
Yeah.
I wanted to do something like that, but I wasn't 100% sure. I wasn't. So I knew I wanted to do something where you apply something to the skin, like an attachment or like a prosthetic or something. But
interesting. Oh, Alan, did you have any ideas of what your hair was going to be this year?
Yeah, you know what? This year, I was going to try to, well, I was going to speak to everyone about it, to do like very similar what they do in the GT Bank Fashion Week in Nigeria, whereas each designer got a different look with the hair, right? Because believe you me, it's possible, right? Because when they do, I mean, you need to see it to believe it, what happens in Nigeria. You know, within minutes, a complete change of hair and makeup, within minutes, for the girls to go on next. It can be done. It needs to be orchestrated and conducted properly, but it can be done. And I wanted to try and do that this year. I really wanted to go out and out and do that because, you know, at the end of the day, as we discussed earlier, some of the designers do have a little idea that they would want. And, you know, so sometimes it's quite upsetting to see them not seeing their total vision, what they had.
Right.
You know, and I would like to have implemented that this year because I know how to do it. I know how to do it, you know, and you'll be shocked to see how easy it is once it's orchestrated properly, you know, like choreography for the makeup artist and for the hairdressers. It'd be like choreography and it's done. That's what I want.
Is this one of the reasons why you're also looking for assistance?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because believe you me, there I have 25 assistants there for each show, you know, and they kind of make hair pieces and stuff like that, so it's easy to pull on. Once they've got the storyboard and it's easy to put. I like to do something like that because that's show. I mean, that's proper, you know, couture,
yes. Alan, can you tell us, can you share with us and the audience the work attitude in Africa in comparison to the UK?
Oh God, there's no comparison. I mean, they're fantastic. I'm sorry to say.
Don't be sorry.
Don't apologize.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a. I don't get excited by anything anymore. I don't. I mean, I've been there, I've done it, I've seen it, and you know, there it's just amazing. I mean, the workforce there, the teams of people. I'm talking about every makeup artist. Well, the makeup artists are Mac, and they bring in a whole team, right? And stylists and every hairdressers, even everybody. I mean, it's just unbelievable. You need to see it. I can't describe it, and it works like clockwork. You know. It's theatre. It's like theatre. You know, in the fact within the fashion show, it's you need to see it. You need to go and look at their shows. Look at the shows on the internet, and see the quick.
And some of your trainers, that you mentioned just now about some of the people that you're looking for, some of your assistants, that they should have passports because you would take them all the way to Nigeria.
Oh yes, of course.
Oh, there you go. So there's the opportunity, guys, are just immense, and I think it's so important to remember that the caliber of people that work on the AFWL platform, they are internationally respected and internationally known, legends in a case like Alan, and so you know, and they will take you places because they are in such demand, and they're amazing at their craft, and they support each other. In, like, you know, Alan always, as you were saying, that when anyone asks about makeup artists, he always recommends Abby because she's on point. You know, she's on point with what she does, and it's just and that's incredible. Any last words for
Hold on, Michael. I just want to answer this question because I've got somebody asking a question. Siska Nimpty, she's asking, sorry, I don't know. Who's putting all the strings together for a show? Are there agencies behind it, or is there really an AFWE team that doing the back office organization part, like preparing space, scheduling, etc.? I just want to tell you, it is all us. It is all us. We do everything.
Everything.
I just want to make this clear.
And you guys honestly do such an amazing job.
Everything.
Well, Anna, don't be modest here. This is Anna takes on the doxy share of this work, and Anna's the one that really, she's the glue that sticks this all together. So,
well, thank you.
Anyone that wants to assist in the back office organisation,
admin,
they're welcome on board. I will say there's
AFWL, and we'll get back to you.
but just to give you an breakdown of what we do, there's probably about five, six, seven, 8 main staff that work all year, including Abby, Samson, and Alan. But on show days, that staffing level goes up to 100, 150 because of all the dressers, the volunteers, the runners, the hair and makeup teams, everybody. So yes, there is only us. It's us that do all the work. Nobody else.
And we work all the time, and we work every day, like literally every day, not Monday to Friday, every day. And just like how you see the team, the Backstage team is so together, guys. The rest of the core team are very much, we're all together. We're all in constant communication all the time. We eat at each other's homes. During the lockdown, someone might send an Uber delicious meal over to someone's house. That's how close we all are. And it's
me doing the cooking.
And by the way, Anna Marie is the cook in the place, but we won't go into all of it.
No, the question about the music.
Yeah, let's answer. That's the same person asked a question about the music. Do you want to answer that, Samson? Go ahead.
Yeah, so the music, the designer has their own thoughts behind that, and we asked them to bring a tune for that. But we do have a DJ who's flown in from Nigeria, and if the designer hasn't got a clue about the music, he'll find something. I work closely with him to find something that fits the collection. I mean, that is quite important to get the right music for the collection, to keep it upbeat and up-tempo and set the right tone and mood for the collection. So designers that are out there, do think about your music as well.
Absolutely.
Applying for the show. But if you haven't, you would make sure you've got something that's good. And sometimes we override. I can override if we think the music is just wrong, or not maybe wrong. If 4 or 5 designers have got the same tune, which can happen, there'll be a big hit that everyone wants to use. So we'll be like, no, it's already been used on that day. So we'll find something that's in the right sort of ballpark and can work with the collection. So that's the best thing that we do.
And that's key. So you guys have to be, as one of the things that you running trade around for everybody is the flexibility, guys. So for the designers, you guys have to be flexible, like incredibly flexible in dealing with situations, because things do pop up indeed. Any last words of encouragement, thoughts, or anything that you guys would like to share?
I think if you are an aspiring makeup artist and this is something that you want to get into, just do it. Don't double think. I know it's easy for me to say, but I was in that boat as well. And I actually quit my full-time job, and I was just like, right, I'm just doing makeup and that's it, and just see how it goes. And to be honest, if I didn't do that, I don't know where I'd be now, but I probably wouldn't be as happy as what I'm doing now. I don't even call this a job, it's just fun. And you get to meet amazing people like this, and I work with great people and do amazing things and be creative. And if this is something you want to get into and you do want any advice, feel free to slide into my DMs. And I'm more than happy to talk to you one-on-one. I've got all the time in the world right now, so yeah.
Yeah, the same with me, same as Abby. If you really seriously want to get into this side of the industry, then send me a message. I said, there's plenty of time. I've got nothing doing but sitting here on my own. So and also people that are already in it and are not getting as far as they want, I can put you in the right direction.
Yeah.
But you better be ready to work. So there's some key things there. You have to be ready to work. You have to be flexible. You have to be professional. You have to be punctual. You have to be you just have to know that it's not going to be what Samson, what did you say? It's not 9 to 5.
Yeah, it's a vocation. It's something that you'll be passionate about. There are rewards in it. But if you don't love it, you won't survive. You've got to love it, and it will work.
You've got to have a bit of a backbone as well.
A bit of a spine, and yeah, have an opinion, but be willing to learn. Absolutely be willing to learn. Give as much as you get, and always show that you're willing, eager, keen. Punctuality is key. Willingness, initiative. And if you can get onto a course, I mean, I don't know if schools are the best place. It's good to give you a foundation, but I think most of the work comes after you graduate. Most of the learning comes after internships and apprenticeships. They're where you learn most of your vocation. So don't be shy to do more work that's unpaid after you've graduated, because that's where you learn the key skills to get you, and that's where you make the contacts actually as well.
That's something that's really keen. I would say I probably didn't get paid for the first 2 years after I completed, well, during actually my makeup course, but also maybe like a year after my makeup course. Just be prepared that your pockets aren't going to be full. You might have to eat bees on toast for a bit, but you know, it's all worth it, and I wouldn't change anything to do the job that I'm doing. And if you do want to come and hang around with me when all this is over, and come to a photo shoot with me and learn a thing or two, then and let me know, because I do let a lot of people do that just so they can, you know, see if this is actually for them.
And remember, guys, you've heard it here first that both Abby and Alan will be doing a masterclass for AFWL. So
and Samson's doing one as well.
And Samson and by the way, Samson already has his presentation, everything laid out. He does not mess about, guys. He's very serious. This is why he has the connection, the success that he has. I mean, you'll constantly see the sommelier designs in magazines around the UK, around the world. You always see some big celebrity wearing his stuff. Is just incredible. So I mean, this is why he stays on top, right, Samson Soboya?
And the best is yet to come.
And the best is that's right. Guys, before we go, I wanted to ask also, any tips for anyone who's dealing with who are finding it difficult during this COVID crisis situation? Any tips that how you guys are handling it?
Stay in your yard.
Say it again, Alan. Say it again.
Stay in your yard. Stay in your house, dear. Stay in your house and read a book.
not even practice on any hair or anything like that.
Stay in your house and read a book.
But I want to ask you, Alan, because
there's actually some good educational seminars or webinars on the web now. Lots of good ones. Anthony Muscola from Tony and Guy is doing some fantastic stuff. You know, TG Essentials. Trevor Sorby's group are doing some lovely things. Robert Lebetta is doing something. Robert Lebetta's from years ago. He's one of the matriarchs of artistic hairdressing. So there's lots. Just look, there's so much you can learn. I'm learning stuff myself by looking at these things.
Stop learning.
You know, and you know, it's really good. So get on it.
That's simple. So you heard, guys. You hear from even the legend is telling you that. Guess what? You never stop learning.
Never stop.
There's so much out there. Abby?
I would say, I mean, me personally, you know, we're all human. We all have up and down, very down days. This is obviously a worldwide pandemic. It's all a bit rubbish. But one thing I would say is just take care of yourself at this time. Make sure that you're doing things that, you know, trying to make yourself happy. And, you know, some days you don't want to learn a thing or two about, you know, if you're an aspiring makeup artist and, you know, you want to shut off from it, that's absolutely fine. But if you do want to learn a thing or two, I'm doing makeup tutorials. I created a new Instagram called Abby May Tutorials. And also there's lots of advice on if you are a makeup artist and you want to know how to get back into doing your job once it's all over, follow Beauty Stack online, because they have a lot of information for beauty pros sign up to their newsletter, just have a look at all their updates. And they are also supporting makeup artists, hairstylists, you know, everyone in the beauty industry, nails, for you know, at this time. So yeah, I would say check out Beauty Stack online.
Beauty Stack. Samson, any?
Yeah, I'd say take care of your mind as well as your body. Do get out and do the exercise that you're allowed. It's been extended now. Get those vitamin D sunshine rays into your body. Read a book if you haven't read a book for ages. I've started reading. I only used to just read magazines, and I've just started to get back into books, and that's really good to kind of create more imagination. Put your house in order, sort out your things. And if you're in a job that you've not liked, and this has forced you to relook at your life and where you're going, fashion is very exciting. We don't know how it's going to look or what's going to happen after all of this, but I think it's a time for introspection, and more kindness will be there, and more giving. It will be less dog eat dog. I think it'll be more of a community. So if you want to be part of that community, this might be a good time to be involved in fashion. I don't know how much internationally it's going to work, but I think we need to be looking local and close to home, and seeing how we can do things differently to embrace creativity, embrace ideas, and embrace technology and diversity.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a new time for diversity. Plus size models with disabilities. They're all going to be included in the narrative.
We actually have a wonderful web talk coming up, guys, on I think it's the 14th of May, and it's actually going to be dealing with some of the issues that, some of the topics that Samson mentioned on inclusivity in the fashion industry. So please, everyone, tune in for that. I also want to add to what and what you know, piggyback on what Alan said about looking to the continent of Africa and seeing for the level of standards from work ethics, the work attitude, the resourcefulness, looking at them for great inspiration, look at them for professionalism from every aspect of the Backstage team, including the models, and just looking at them and how the standards of which things, the quality and standard that's coming out of the continent, look at them for that. And I also want to say, guys, before I know Anna Marie is going to close out, I just want to say that for us, AFWL, we will continue to do lots of incredible things this year. There will be other events coming up this year, also another thing that we're going to be working on, both with Africa Fashion Week online and actually stuff that will be out, you know, where people will congregate at, but there'll be some exciting things coming up. So please keep an eye out, stay tuned with what's happening on all our social media handles and on our website also. So please make sure you continue to follow us. The actual webinar series finishes next week on the 19th of May. So there's so much more going on. So please stay tuned. Anna.
Well, I did promise you guys a picture of Abby May's new.
I found it.
Yeah, I've got it. So I'm just going to quickly share my screen and make the picture bigger. So this is a picture of Violet. You remember Violet?
Wow. Yeah.
So
this is my favourite picture.
Yeah. She's
We have to send that to you, Abby.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I did think that was one of your best looks, actually. That really popped.
Yeah, beautiful.
I call it rainbow eye.
Yeah. Love it.
Quite apt for a COVID symbol. We should put that out as a poster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's your favourite look, Abby. I knew I'd find the picture for you, so there you go.
Beautiful.
So yeah, so guys, well, thank you so much for.
You're very, very welcome, my dear.
I forgot you were there, Alan.
Bottoms up, John.
Bottoms up. And you know, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and you know, we miss you so much. And who knows what's going to happen this year? Hopefully, we'll get a show out somehow, or some kind of
at least
something. Yeah, exactly. Or you know, or we just have to move our you know, our celebrations till next year. But let's hope we all.
And when that happens, we'll be stronger, better, fitter,
well rested.
And guys, and before Anna closes, and as what Samson was saying about collective, if whatever goes out this year in terms of there's a actual event, it's going to be a collective effort with all partners also. So it will always, it's going to be stronger. It's all going to be very much about encouraging the public to get back on the, you know, in remaining optimistic and that togetherness.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so I've got left to say love you, give you big kisses. And we'll hopefully see you on the podcast very soon. And thank you, beautiful audience.
Take care. Bye bye.
It's been great seeing you guys.
Bye bye, Alan.
Bye.
I thought we're leaving now. It's over now, isn't it not?
It's over now.
Alan, are you dismissing us already, Alan?
No, not at all. I was told it would be an hour. It's been an hour and 45 minutes.
Wow, all right then. Okay, bye bye.
Thank you already.
Bye, Michael. Take care.
Bye, Alan.
Does everybody know who you are, Michael?
Pardon?
Does everybody know who you are? And what do you do?
I don't think, well, guys, I work for the Africa Fashion Week London also. I'm one of the part of the management team, and we, like I said, we all work very closely together. We all make everything happen, and honestly, we have no agency helping us at all. It really is there, and I was brought on board. You see how Alan brought Samson? Anna Marie brought me here. So yes, and it's just been wonderful. It's been incredible, and so I'm so happy.
Can't do without any of you.
Okay, so how do I turn this thing off now?
All right, I don't worry. I'm gonna stop it. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.